then eventually Les Canadiens.
Yes, I didn't get that
later on. So that team was always so strong. I can remember them always being at the top of the standings every single year. It was also Team Quebec at the majority of the times whenever you guys were selected to go to the national championships. So I'm curious from your perspective, what made that Montreal team so strong year after year? And you guys won the national championships. You won the Clarkson Cup alongside what looked like some of your best friends. So really, I guess what made that franchise so successful and so special for you?
Yeah, that's a good question because Team Quebec always seems to have this special energy going. I think it's probably the Quebec, the French group.
Pride.
Yeah, different from everyone else in Canada. But for me, it's two things. It's heart and passion. Every single player on this team was always so excited to see each other, but that we got to play hockey because everyone was playing everywhere else. But whenever we're able to get on that team, it made it very special. And if you remember Lisa Marie Breton Lebreu, like when there's a player like this on your team that's everyone's looking up to, and she brings so much energy and pride and passion to the game. So it was a special feeling to be a part of this group. And some were on the national team, some were also playing at the university level. But when we all got there, it was just hard work all the time. And I think that's what made us really successful.
Yeah, what ended up being Les Canadiens, so the Montreal team, I feel like always attracted some of the top players, but people don't realize that there are so many more players playing in other provinces than Quebec. In fact, there at that point wasn't that many girls playing, and yet you guys always seem to develop this incredible talent. And these girls that kept playing long after their national team careers, I was always so impressed. So it must have been a really special environment to be in that dressing room. What was that like?
Oh yes, a lot of jokes going around, and yeah, like Sabrina Arbeck, which was like so funny, and a lot of these players also went the NCAA way before they got to the Montreal Canadiens. So they all brought some different perspective, different experience, and we're a hockey group, but we're also really good friends. So I think that's what helps, that we got to see each other during the summer, and there was opportunities to hang out together. So then our team building was already made early on in the season. There was always a few new rookies, but then when at some point we got Marie-Philippe as a rookie, it's kind of special that Marie-Philippe Poulin comes in, and right away she feels welcome. And I think it was the mix probably of the younger players and the more experienced one, and the ones that went through Team Canada, and some only went to Team Quebec, but we felt like one, and everyone was like pushing each other. So we definitely wanted to play our best. And I mean, the rivalry with Toronto and the other provinces, or the league with the Toronto, the Mississauga, the Brampton.
Yeah, all of those sort of iterations of whatever our team name was, but also then the Olympic Oval. Those were really the programs, right, that were across the country. And
yes,
it's amazing to see what Danielle Sauvageau has created in Montreal to sort of recreate what you guys had back then with all those top players all in one central location is really neat to see.
Oh yeah, she created the Center 2102. So now all the players from the national team program, and she's attracting players from all over Canada coming to this center, and they're able to practice. They have skilled coaches. Like when I played, we had to book ice time and book the skilled coaches and try to get all the girls to practice on the same time. But now she's supporting, giving all the resources that the hockey players need so they don't have to worry about everything else. So it's she's been working so hard with her team behind her, Danielle Sauvageau. So and the girls, they love it. Like the Mélodie Daou is there, and Marie-Philippe Poulin, and so all these girls now are getting ready for Worlds and the Olympic season. But it's hopefully there's more centers in Canada, so the girls' game can grow a lot, and hopefully get to our professional league at some point. But it's the professional way that we've been looking for, and then finally Sauvageau has been doing it. But as you know, the financial support is always a challenge, but now we see big companies, big names, wanting to put money and supporting women's hockey. So I'm loving it to see all the progress that's being made.
Yeah, and I feel like every day you open the newspapers and something new or great has happened for either a woman in the game or for women's hockey. And that's really, it's a fun time to be a part of. I'm sure not easy for a lot of the girls in this situation that they're going through, but it also, I feel like there is a lot of excitement. It's an exciting time because the future, I think, is going to be so amazing. And I can't wait to see what that is. But also they get to be a part of building it. And what Danielle Sauvageau has created, I think, is what other centers should do. I mean, it seems like exactly what the athletes need. And yeah, she's pulled away a lot of athletes from other places, and those girls got centralized. So it makes sense at this moment. So, yeah, I guess let's transition from Montreal days to your national team days. So you were a goaltender in 3 Olympic Games, winning gold every time. I'm curious, from your perspective, what your thoughts on why and how Canada managed to come out on top for more than a decade. I mean, we weren't winning everything, but when it mattered, we won. And what do you think made that difference?
I think for sure our commitment as individual players. Yes, sometimes we don't get along with the coaches or we get different playing times, but I think at some point we all buy in and we realize that as a team, we can win and we're bigger than just as an individual. There's nothing to gain if someone scores 3 goals or if the goalie doesn't let any goal. For me, the team was always bigger than everything else. And having the privilege to represent our country, it's our national sport. I think right away it showed our passion and commitment to winning. And we've always seen the pressure as a privilege. For us, it was something so special to be able to compete for gold every year. And for me, what it made it special is the leadership group that's been there. And when I started and then when I finished, I was a part of it. But it seemed that the leadership group on this team is always so, so special and makes feel everyone that everyone has a big role to play in this final game. And I think probably also the respect that we all had for each other, understanding that some would get playing times and it would be harder for other people. But when it was harder, like it's been harder for me, it was harder for you at some point, there was always someone to pick you up. That's probably the team special feeling that we had, that we were all in this together. And maybe it's coming from our centralization when we would do the boot camp for 3 weeks, how we needed everyone together, 3 weeks of intense off ice. It was nothing hockey related. We had a bit of hockey, but it was all about doing a triathlon and hiking and running.
Just crazy long days, tired, exhausted.
Yes. So that's probably what made us get to know each other more as individual and understanding that we were all in this together and we needed everyone to survive all of this, survive an Olympic season or World Championship. It's never easy with the pressure, but then, yeah, we were able as a team to come up on top for so many years.
I love that just line. We needed all of each other to survive.
Well,
it's so true, right? And yeah. I like how you phrased it, that we had incredible respect for each other. And I think that, in that pressure environment, you're competing for spots. You're competing against, and the coaches are often, forwards are competing for spots on the power play or whatever. Everybody is wanting more than what they had, but using that to fuel the team. And even though the coaches, I think, often put us, not you and I, but all the team against each other to say, you got to make this team. I think we had an incredible leadership crew, as you mentioned. I just did a podcast with Cassie and she talked about what it was like to lead basically an entire team of captains too, that were captains on their own teams. So we had this just really great group in my opinion. I mean, obviously I'm biased, but we had this great group of people that I think were, willing to share disappointments, willing to share the tough times with each other, and like you said, have people to pick you up. I recently read that you woke up the morning of the final game in 2002 and you saw the sunshine, and you said that you love the sun and you just knew because of that we were going to win that day. Do you think in that final game, I mean, you played exceptional, but do you think you played differently that day, or do you feel like it was just the culmination of all the training and that was Kim St-Pierre, or do you think it was like more than you've ever done on that day? What was your feeling during the game?
No, I think it was a team thing, a team feeling, because we had played the Americans 8 times in preparation. We lost all games. We were never really getting close to winning a game. They had centralized 6 months prior to us, so the whole year we felt like we were always behind, but the coaching staff was believe in our system, believe in our plan, and we'll peak. So that kept me going, this peak idea that we'll get there at some point, but we needed to be patient. And for athletes, for me, I need to win to feel good. You need to win to say, okay, it's going well, but when you lose, you lose. It's hard to play with confidence, to show confidence, and even talking to each other was always pretty much negative because we're just losing against the team that we'll probably face in the final. So I don't know how we were able to keep our team together and not and still all be friends and trying to compete for this gold medal. But at some point we realized that it would be one hockey game. Like, I realized it did not matter everything else that had happened before. It's going to be 60 minutes. And I think what helped, yes, the sunshine, but no, but it was a special feeling because, I don't know, there was so much pressure, like first Olympics as well. And I knew the situation you were into as well. Like, we were competing for this final game, like training, so like 4 years for this final game. So you know how it's hard to deal with all of these emotions. So I saw the sunshine. It was just a sign. It was like, I think it's going to be a good day today. And
did you do anything personally for you between the semi and the final? Because you say that, yeah, losing is hard. But also as a goalie, sometimes when you feel like things just aren't going your way, it's hard. So did you do anything to regain that confidence that was apparent in that final game? Or did you just let the natural cycle go to where you peaked on that day?
Yes, I think it was just us, especially when we got to the Olympics, we started winning easily against the other country. And when we faced the adversity in the semifinals, it was the semifinals. We won 7-3, but at some point we were down like 3-1. So I think that brought our team together. I think that's when we realized that we're going to get through this together. It helped us energize our team as well. So when we won this, we're like, okay, finally our parents have tickets for the gold medal. Because like, what if we were such in a panic, but as a team, we managed with Cassie's leadership to say, relax everybody. We faced a lot of adversity this year. Like, let's go again. Like, it's just one more piece to the puzzle that we're going to add. And then the final game, scoring the first goal, like Jana's goal, one of my favorite of all time. Right away, I think there was like 30 pounds off of my shoulders. Like, okay, we're winning 1-0. And then all the penalties that we got, probably 13, 14 total. Every time you were able to beat that power play from the U.S. team, I felt our team growing and no panic from our bench, and everyone was there. Then we scored a second goal, and what a goal. And then we got scored on, but I didn't feel that it really mattered. I think we were so composed the whole game. And like I said, we grew as a team and then finally won that game. But I didn't feel extra pressure. For me, we had nothing to lose, and I think that's probably why we showed up that day and played free. Because nothing worse could happen than losing 9 games. Nobody would have talked about us. Yeah. And we're in the U.S., and for me, the crowd was so loud, but in my mind, I was like, they're cheering for us. They're not cheering for the U.S. team. And And at some point we finished on top, but.
Tell me about that final 10 seconds, about what it felt like. I've often heard you say it felt like an hour. You know what? I didn't remember too much about it until I wrote my book. And in the book, I had to rewatch the game several times. A couple things that I never knew, I didn't remember. I mean, obviously I knew, but I didn't remember your stick breaking halfway up the shaft, and that nobody else on the ice seemed to notice what was going on, that you were at the top of your circles almost with no stick. And the US didn't even notice. They like came out of their zone and then they went offside or something. So that was one thing. And then in the final seconds, Jen Botterill, basically like forechecked one of the Americans who had a fairly like good path to the net, forechecked her and got the puck out. And there was time for you guys to sort of appreciate the moment as the puck's going down the ice. So tell me from your perspective what that was like.
It was crazy. Like the last 10 seconds, I was just, like I said, it lasted forever. And then you don't want to look at the clock because, you never know if the puck's going to come. But then I was realizing that we were gold medal champions. So it was very special. And then as soon as when I heard the buzzer, I just threw everything up in the air. And then I saw a train coming. Like it was just Wickenheiser was there and Geraldine Heaney and everyone jumped on top of me. But it was very special to hear all the girls. Like we were so excited. Like it was a great build up from this Olympic season to becoming like Olympic champions. And especially after losing in 98, it was our first gold medal. So it made it so special to be a part of this group.
Is it true that you felt concussed and didn't drink that night because you hit your head so hard on the post when they all jumped on top of you?
Yes. When I watched the slow motion video, I see that I fall on my back and then my helmet is hitting the post. And so I don't know if it was this or it was just being so amazed that we were Olympic champions. When I grew up, I just wanted to go to the Olympics in every sport but hockey because I knew women were not playing hockey back then. So for me, it was a dream coming true. So I don't know if it's that excitement and plus the post in the head. And when we see our parents and you're so exhausted and tired, and when we finally had to maybe have a drink or two, I was like, it's okay. We're just going to celebrate.
We'll celebrate for the next 20 years.
Yeah, exactly. But it was overwhelming. It was very special. And I was so happy that my parents came. They were supporting me like this whole time since I was like 5 or 6 years old. So to have them with me in Salt Lake City was very special. And one of the picture I see in one of the book, I'm trying to put my gold medal through one of the glass at the ring so my mom can actually touch it.
Oh, nice.
She's part of this. But yeah, thanks to your book, it's bringing me so much memories. I don't have a great memory, but being able to read all of your stories, it makes it so special as well.
Well, it's interesting because I also don't really think I have a great memory, but I took lots of notes. So when I reread a lot of the notes, I had to go back and look at game tape because I thought that didn't happen, did it? Or this didn't happen. So I think we remember things in our own way, and like Cheryl Pounder says that she hasn't watched the 2002 Olympic gold medal game because she doesn't want to know anything she did wrong. She wants to just remember it in such the special way that she feels it. Mm-hmm. So that's not a bad thing either. But I want to dive a little bit deeper into our teammates and specifically your relationship with Charlene Labonte. She was also our goalie partner for a long time. And the two of you had a really special relationship. And I think for our listeners, it would be very incredibly valuable for people to hear how to support somebody in a workplace environment that is, you're vying for the same spot. You guys had just such a special relationship despite all of that. And how did you guys deal with those feelings? Because at one point she came in, she was young, she's the rookie looking up to you. And then at another point she's playing. So how did you guys manage that? And did you guys communicate, or it was just because you guys were great people, you could deal with it?
No, but you're right. It's the same in the business world. And when I do some speeches, like people like to know because everyone's competing against each other, but in the end, we're playing for a team. We're working for a business, and we want the business to do good, or we want the team to do good. And same thing when you were there was 3 of us, and we wanted the starting position, and only one of us. And I think it's a process, like a learning process. And for me, it was through experience, because playing with the boys, I was mostly the number 1 goalie for the last 4 or 5 years of my career with the boys. So you get to the national team, we're all number 1 goalies, and it's a long process. We don't sign contracts, and maybe that's one of the reasons why we got so good. It's because we're always out of our comfort zone. Every practice was so important to me. And I'm sure it was to you and it was to Charlie, because we knew there was coaches looking at us, the goalie coach.
You never knew what was important to the coaches, right? Or what day they would be really watching you, because they could be watching all the other players. You don't know what day. So you had to be on all the time.
Yes, exactly. And looking up to you, and then I see that you were working so hard, and same thing with Charlie. It's like, okay, I need to work hard as well. So I think when you're competing against people that work hard, that are dedicated and passionate, it brings the best out of you. We're all competitive, but like I said, through my experience, I think I learned a lot that we needed to find a way to work together for the best of the team. But if it's good for you, it's going to be good for the team as well. Like, you don't want to expect someone to play bad, but I know that if you play bad or Charlie plays bad, then we get a chance. It's hard because on the other side, like, I want you to have a good game because our team is going to win, and in the end, we're going to become world champion or Olympic champion. So once you see the positive, and instead of seeing going against each other, but we're working together towards the same goal. Like, same thing in business. If I make you better, you'll make me better, then we're all better in the end. So I think it was learning from your style that was so different than mine, and then learning from Charlie's style when she joined the national team. Then I got to become better. And I think probably the same for you and Charlie. And same thing when Shannon Zavados joined the program. Now she was the youngest. Charlie was pushing, and then I was probably almost done. So same thing, learning from what Shannon would bring to this hockey team. How, like, she was competing every single day, every practices, every game was so special to see her play. So I think once you find the best in your teammates or coworker, and then apply that to your style of play of work, then we all become better. And we're not always best friends, for sure. Like, there's some days that it's going better for me than for you or other goalies, but it's a long process, and in the end, we compete for the same team. So, but it wasn't always easy, but I think we learned a lot through this.
That's a great way of describing it, that lifting each other up lifts everybody up and lifts the team up. And like you said, it wasn't always easy. And in my book, I tried to get across those feelings, that it is natural to feel that way, to want somebody else to fail, or for a team to not possibly go on without you, because you want to feel valued. But I think what made that team very special is that we were able to find our value, even if you weren't the person scoring the big goal, or you weren't the person on the power play, that others were able to lift you up in those moments. That's what I found. And I know one of your best friends from the team ended up being Caroline Ouellet. So I wanted to end this podcast with, I know that she has been an incredible player and incredible person. She's had such an influence on the game at so many different levels. But what do you think made her such a special teammate and really a special leader within that program, and still now?
Oh, she is. Yes, definitely. What she's doing now for the women's game, either at the grassroots level where she's organizing all her hockey tournaments, and she's putting on a team of Pee-wee girls to compete in the big Quebec boys hockey tournament, and now working with the Concordia Stingers as a head coach. She brings so much knowledge to the game, experience. I've seen her coach, and I'm always impressed by her speeches and the way she's a leader for women's hockey. And her career, like how she tells her story, it's a great one, where she started like as a young rookie with no confidence,
I know she was so quiet when she first came in. She said nothing, really. I mean, she was such this, like, she didn't even use her size. She just you felt like she was shy, but that wasn't really her until she came out of herself.
Yeah, no, exactly. And the English barrier as well. Like, she didn't speak a lot of English when she joined the national team, and the role, she had to accept the role that she played in 2002, and then it made her becoming like a leader on the team, and she even played defense at some point for the national team.
Oh yeah, in 2006, she was named a defenseman on the team. I forgot about that.
Yeah, they tried her on defense, and she went with it. And remember, she had issues skating a bit backwards. Like, it was not easy to transition from a forward to now skating a lot more backwards, but she took it as everything for her as a challenge, and she always wants to win, whatever we do. So that's her mentality, that if you do it to win. You do it at your best. And she was inspiring to me for that. Every single workout that we had to do in the weight room, she was always going all out. Same all practices, she was going all out. So that made her like a really like hard worker and wanting to improve. Like, she would stay on to do so many breakaways on us. She wanted to have this low blocker shot perfect so that she would score for games.
The amount of one-timers that she would make me stay on after, to just over and over and over and over. And she has a hard shot, probably one of the heaviest shots that I've ever faced. So you guys did it more often than I did, but yeah, she just always wanted to do that little bit extra.
Yeah, so she definitely just went one step at a time and learned from such amazing leaders on our team, like Therese Brisson and Vicky and Cassie, and France St. Louis was her idol. So she took it one step at a time, and everyone had so much respect from Caro, from all her hard work and intensity. That everything was so intense to her, and then she finally was the captain for the national team. And now seeing her as a coach, I would see her be recruited to work for an NHL team at some point, because she would bring so much. Hopefully we keep her on the women's side of the game, but she would deserve this kind of opportunity, as we see that more women are working for NHL teams now. And also she's a great and precious friend. We played all our years together. We played fastball together with Team Quebec. So she's been an amazing friend. And now seeing her with her little family, it's pretty cool to see.
Well, that's amazing. And I think that we were both very lucky to have such special teammates. And somebody like Cato, I think, is, not known by many people as to why she was in the position she was in, because often she was quieter. And but to me, after probably 2 or 3 years on the national team, she really came into her own and started to speak her voice. And to me, I think she was just an incredible leader. I mean, we had so many leaders on the team, but I have such respect for the way that she included everybody and wanted everybody to feel valued within that team. So it's awesome to see that you guys are still such great friends. And I love seeing her as a mother and going through all of these new challenges, right? So I guess overall, what was your favorite moment that you lived in hockey besides the Olympic experience? What would you say that you have taken away? Maybe favorite moment's the wrong word. What do you think that you've taken away from hockey into motherhood now?
Oh, that's a good question. Well, for sure in hockey, we're the center of the attention. Like, we do everything for us. And when I had my 2 sons, they're 19 months apart, then it's not about us anymore, just us. There's other things to consider, and giving my time to my kids. Probably patience. Patience is something very important. And as hockey players, we learned how rest was important to take care of ourselves. And I think as moms too, at some point we forget about us. We always want to give so much to our kids. So to take some time for myself as well makes me a better mom. And I'm still learning. I know they're 7 and 9, but it's the best. I remember when I was a hockey player still, and Cassie had her daughter, and she said, "You'll see when you're pregnant and you have your first child, it doesn't compare to anything that you live through hockey." And she was right. Like, it's so special to go through pregnancy and then finally have my first son. Hockey was very special, but now I really appreciate as well this new life, being a mother, and now also coaching a little bit with my boys. So it's a lot of fun, but definitely that's what I'm bringing into my mom's life.
I love it. Well, that's a great way to end this. It has been such a pleasure for me to really get to know you away from Team Canada. I think that I've got to know you more since being your teammate, because I think often, we're at the other end of the rink, and, you're kind of in your own circle of friends and I'm in my own circle of friends. And I think we always got along, but I feel like every event I do with you, I learn more and more about you, and just your humbleness, your support, and your real love of the team, and your willingness to want to build everybody else up is something I'm so grateful for. And I think so appreciate having had you as a goalie partner for so long, I think is what made all of us better. So thank you. I'm grateful for the time and the memories that we were fortunate enough to share. And it really, truly is a pleasure to get to call you my friend. So thank you so much for being on my show.
Thanks, Sammy, and same to you. You were there when I first started, and you showed me the way, so I owe you a lot as well.
Well, thank you. All right. Good luck with everything. Take care.
Thank you, Sammy. Bye.
Thank you for listening to Sammy Joe's podcast. If you have suggestions for guests in the future, would like to book her for your next event, advertise on this podcast, or to purchase her latest book, The Role I Played, please go to www.sammyjoesmall.ca.